Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so I'm a happy Laker fan, man. This is the day after the draft, and my squad put together some nice undrafted prospects as well, as we know we do. This is when we shine the most, when it's time for our scouts to take a look at who's out there that didn't get drafted. Usually we come in smoking hot, ready to rock, and that is exactly what we have here with these three young prospects here I'm very excited about. We put an emphasis on guys who are able to play some defense, two-way ability. All three of these dudes going to help you on both sides of the floor. D'Moi Hodge is the first name we're going to talk about. Out of Missouri, guy from Georgia. Very efficient at the rim, very efficient from three. So right there, you love what you hear on the offensive side. He's an extremely smart defender and extremely good help defender, and was finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. Does it get more two-way than that? He averaged 2.8 steals per game, top 5 in the country last year. 5.6% steals rate, which was top 10 in the country last year. And he averaged 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. I don't see a reason why this guy didn't get drafted. I'm happy he's here. Well, yeah, I do see a reason. 24 years of age. He's older, so that's why people don't draft him. 6'4", 188 pounds, out of the Virgin Islands. This brother is going to be very, very special for the Lakers. And the fact that people don't believe that 24-year-old rookies are a good thing is confusing to me when you consider how much these teams need win-now rookies. It's really funny to me how they keep passing these guys up and then keep looking at the Austin Reeves come out, play well, and they keep passing them up some more. It's like, y'all don't see the correlation between that being something that you should want. It's not like you're going to turn a guy away at 24 years old when he's in his 4th year because of his age. You're going to keep him on your team, and you're going to use what it is that he has to your best of your ability. And I keep seeing these guys come out playing well. And I just don't understand why they don't get drafted. You'll draft guys that won't come over for another 4 years, but you won't draft a guy who's 4 years older. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we're happy we got D'Moi Hodge here with us, ready to play some of that two-way defense ability. Playing defense as a guard is a big deal because we obviously had some issues since we lost Pat Bev, trying to find some defensive capabilities there. So you run into guys like De'Aaron Fox, like Murray, like all the dudes that you're going to run into at the point guard position, and don't have a little guy that can go around chasing them around. But we've tried to address that. I thought we did a good job addressing that with Shaq Harrison, even though we haven't used him yet. I don't know if he'll actually play for us, but this guy right here can do some of what Shaq Harrison's expected to do, stealing the ball and helping us even more so defensively. I think this guy can develop to be much more than what it is we're drafting him to be, D'Moi Hodge. So, welcome to the Lakers, D'Moi. The next name we want to mention is Colin Castleton. Now, y'all know I've been talking about the Caucasian center that could pass the rock. Please bring him to the Lakers. His name was Hubba something Hubba. It wasn't nothing Hubba. It was Colin Castleton. I don't know where I got the Hubba from. I don't know. But what I do know is that the Lakers were on top of this, and I'm extremely excited. 30 other teams, 29 other teams could have been on top of this, but it was us. And this is the guy that I wanted us to get. I wish I would have known his name. I've mentioned him twice on our channel without actually getting his name correct. But it's Colin Castleton from Florida, 6'11", center between 230 and 240 pounds. Not really sure. Two different things told from two different places. 7'3" wingspan. Now, he's had some injury issues. That's the key to Colin Castleton. He had a broken hand last year in February that kept him out. And he had a torn labrum even before that kept him from coming out of the draft. So, yeah, torn labrum. And then from there, a broken hand in Feb. So this is a guy that we can expect to miss some time. We're going to have to be patient with him. We can't expect too much from him for that reason. But when he's out there, this dude is pretty good, man. He averaged 16 points, 3 blocks, 2 assists, and 7 boards, 72% free throw shooter, 50% from the field. Now, he doesn't shoot the 3. So don't ask him to stretch the floor. That kind of limits what he can do some, because if you want that ability that comes with him, passing the rock, which is what he's good at, really good at, it doesn't have the same Jokic type dynamic if you can't necessarily stretch the floor. He shot like 16% from the 3. That's not what we want him shooting. But other than that, this is a dude who can start the break by himself. He starts the break. He pushes it like Juju, like Lamar Odom and guys like that. He wants to push the break. He pulls it off the rim, and he's not waiting for a point guard. He's not getting it to Jalen. He's going to take it. So that's what people need to understand. The 6'11" center with 7'3" wingspan who can handle the ball, pass the ball, and is very, very aggressive. He attacks the rim. Kind of right hand dominant though. We're gonna have to work with him. Phil Handy's gonna have to work with him to get him working on his left, because it's gonna be one of those situations where we're not gonna be able to play him right away, because he's gonna be really easy to figure out because of that right hand dominance. But that comes with being in the reps with us at South Bay and all of that. But he's a fantastic passer. As I said, that's a Jokic dynamic. That's why I want people to understand what I wanted from this center before I knew his name. I saw highlights on this dude. Spinella had mentioned him in one of his videos as a deep sleeper. And I come to look at what his style is. I'm like, yo, this is exactly what the NBA needs right now. A guy who can be long, completely dominant rim protecting, and then from there can set up your offense so you can have a shoot first point guard in your lineup, or a bunch of shooters, catch and shoot guys. This guy makes it so that you can bring them guys in without asking them to do stuff that's not really within their wheelhouse. So that's what I like about Colin Castleton. In theory, he should make guys better. He should be able to be in lineups with Maxwell Lewis, and look, Maxwell's going to get great shots because of him being looks with Jalen Hood-Schifino, maybe get some off-ball looks because of a center like this, find him in the fast break. Rui Hachimura's got somebody looking for him. If he's on the floor with Anthony Davis, he can have some inside passing game with AD. There's just a lot of stuff you can do with Colin Castleton on the offensive end. And then on the other end, he's going to assist with rim protection like crazy. That the dynamic we want. So AD can go play the 4 and still be dominant, have a weak side helper that's constantly helping. Guy who can support Vando in situations if we happen to lose, some of our front court players, if for some reason we don't bring back, who would it be, Bamba or Winyan. This is a guy who's going to come in and give us some of that at a different level in a different way. And we'll just overall make our second and third units better if we can develop them. So I'm super excited about Colin Castleton. I would have drafted him in the second round. And I think it's going to be a lot of teams who wish they took him when they see what he can do. Once they see this big, long dude pushing the ball, dribbling, getting into guys in rhythm in the break, passing with one hand and stuff like that, stuff that he can do, you're going to understand that this guy is not a normal type of unicorn. And if he ever figures out how to shoot the 3, we could be looking at a very special prospect. So the injuries are what's going to keep you from really believing in him too much. His age, he's 23 years of age, so that's old, as they say, and that's why he didn't get drafted. On top of the injury issues, but his game alone, you definitely want this prospect. It's probably a gem in the back of the draft, just like we always find. So super happy about Colin Castleton. As you know, our team delivered on the player I wanted us to bring in. And last but not least, we got a guy by the name of Alex Fudge, Colin Castleton's teammate in Florida, a 20-year-old athlete. This dude is an athlete. 6'9", 185 pounds, 7-foot wingspan, shot 39% from the field, 22% from the 3. So he's not an efficient scorer. He's going to have to get better at the rim, to say the least. Very, very inefficient at the rim. So he's a raw prospect. Likely going to be spending a lot of time in the G League for us. But he has physical tools defensively with the long arms. He can defend multiple positions. Average 5 points per game, 4 rebounds a game in 19 minutes. So we can turn him into a nice role player. I don't know how far his elevator goes up, but when you consider the metrics at 6'9", 7-foot wingspan, 20 years of age, we picked up a guy who could easily balloon at 3-4 times as good as this once we get him developed about 4 or 5 years from now. So this is not a guy expected to help right away. Maybe not even a guy we'll keep, to be honest with you, since we're not looking to really develop. But it's definitely somebody you can feel excited about if you keep him on your team and just let him develop slowly. I think of a guy like Derek Jones, players like that who have length, what they want Koulibaly to become. We can develop this guy into something like that if we spend enough time on him and be patient with him. Don't expect nothing out of him first year, maybe not even the second year. But 2-3 years from now, just let this guy kind of groom, let him start working his way into a role. Who knows how good a guy like Alex Fudge can be with a body like that? Who knows? With the defensive tools and the way he can help on the weak side, and the fact that we have other defensive players that we're stacking next to him, who knows what type of piece he can be to come together to make an overall fantastic defensive squad. I wanted dogs. I wanted defensive players. I wanted to get rid of this small ball stuff. I wanted a small defender, somebody like Kason Wallace. We did that with all of these different things that we've done today. Demoy Hodge gives me that Kason Wallace energy. Alex Fudge gives me that unicorn Koulibaly type length that makes you so that you know you picked up something that's going to be better than what you developed to be drafted him to be. And then Colin Castleton is the gem in the back of the draft that everybody should have drafted. That I knew about, that only a few people knew about, that we knew we needed to bring in. And if you have fantastic scouts, chances are they brought in Colin Castleton. This is why I love being a Laker in 2023, because we have some of the best scouts in the league, and these guys' presence is a reflection of that. So that is what I want to say, man. I think the Lakers knocked the draft out of the park, the after draft, all that. We have the best scouts, so I knew we were going to draft well. Didn't have to worry about that. We stayed disciplined. We didn't do anything that we had no business doing, bringing fits to us that we didn't have no business getting, grabbing falling knives, even though we know those players probably players we would love to develop. At the end of the day, if they don't fit, because of the sensitivity of what we got going on, coupled with our circumstances, having no pick next year and all that, we just needed to get what we knew we should get. We needed to not take any chances, and that is exactly what the Lakers did. And I like it. I like it a lot. Now, the only thing that I'm worried about has nothing to do with us. It's the fact that we just probably allowed a team to become a juggernaut in Houston. But that is not something we need to be considering when we talking about putting together our team. Just know that we facilitated very, very ridiculously great talent to other teams by not taking the falling knife in Cam Whitmore. But nevertheless, I don't think we would have fit Cam Whitmore on this team very well. Probably would have tumbled forward to us having a lot of bad contracts with forwards that are not happy, guys not getting their looks, probably trading away Vando, probably letting Rui walk just so that we can make that piece make sense, only for Bron and AD not to be happy about it. I just know better. If you're not planning on rebuilding, you probably don't do that, even if you think it makes sense to do to a degree. It won't help you when you actually start managing it. So that's why I don't like I'm not going to complain at all. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not complaining about us not taking Cam Whitmore, because if we would have took Cam Whitmore, we would have had problems. We would have had a good solution with a very talented player, but a problem with trying to fit him on the team. And I think a lot of teams were passing on him because of that fit. So if you're not going to make a player like that happy, and he has some issues with maybe his character, whatever they're saying about his character they're worried about, and you couple that with the medicals that they're also worried about, it's like that's two different things working against him. And then from there, you just understand that he doesn't fit the Lakers, so you move on. Now, as we said, there were other teams, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we just got to keep on the ball with what we need to do, not bringing any funny contracts, because we already had too many problems managing players that we shouldn't have done certain things with. So we're not the team to take the chance on the falling knife. Especially since we have a bunch of forwards. Now, if we didn't have LeBron James and Anthony Davis in place and we did something like this, we would all be having a different attitude about it. But the fact that we got a bunch of forwards, we like all of those forwards. One of them's named LeBron James, and you're not moving on from him. You just can't really bring in his successor and think you're going to make life easy on yourself. It's just not going to work that way. We can't do the Portland thing. That's not it, because Portland doesn't have AD, so it makes sense for them to bring Dame, his running mate. So, it's one of those situations where you just understand the Lakers not taking Cam Whitmore. So that's the thought there. Maxwell Lewis did some more homework on him last night. It's going to be a fleet full of teams wishing they didn't pass on him, especially the Denver Nuggets. I don't know what they were doing in the second round, but he would have fit their situation much better than the guy they took before we got Maxwell Lewis. I'm glad they passed on Maxwell Lewis, period. He's a fantastic three-point shooter. Fantastic length. Taylor Hendricks light offensively. Defensively, I don't know if they compare. I'm not sure if Maxwell Lewis plays D like that, but offensively, your quintessential tall three-point shooter who has length, can put the ball on the floor, create for himself, score at the rim, has some playmaking ability, but really just somebody can be a very efficient scorer. He can be a very efficient scorer from basically all three levels, I think. Not sure. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure about his mid-range per se, but I know he operates from that area at times, playmaking and things of that nature. So Maxwell Lewis should have been gone in the first round. Some could argue Maxwell Lewis should have been gone in the teens. Okay, so the fact that we got this guy, he's a perfect fit, unlike Cam Whitmore, which is not a good fit at all. This guy comes in as a perfect fit. Absolutely perfect fit. So the fact that we found him at 40 is just a testament to how good our scouts really are and how fantastic we've been moving in this offseason process. I'm really, really thrilled with that. And then, of course, we got Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's just a really, really talented, sturdy, smart defensive minded to it. I don't know if he's defensive minded, but he does have some defensive tangibles. I saw enough defensive highlights to know he's going to be a dog on that side. And the offensive end, I mean, he's just going to make plays for everybody, not only himself, but he's going to be a real point guard for you of the future. Tough guy, driving at the rim. Has really good ability to hit a mid-range shot. He likes to pick apart teams from the mid-range. You know, we love that here. He's going to be coming off pick and roll screens, stuff like that. Quintessential pick and roll specialist. He's going to be fantastic getting the ball to AD, fantastic getting the ball to Rui, running plays off of Vando, probably get Vando a bit more looks offensively. Vando's piece is going to make a little more sense offensively with a guy like Jalen Hood-Schifino reading him and getting him the ball. Other guards, he's going to make better. Him and Austin Reeves should play off one another very well. Also give each other their spell so we can keep them healthy and fresh with an elite, tall point guard on the floor at all times. And somebody who can help Austin get his looks in the corner, three-point shots. He likes to find a rhythm passer that can get him his looks. I like all of that. I'm just thinking about how he'll be able to play off in the second unit, help those guys too. Him and Castleton give us so much opportunities to make others better on the floor with them. If we have them both on the floor at the same time, we don't even need LeBron on the floor at times to get other guys the ball. Have so much continuity passing the rock. So I think we are a much better passing team. Obviously a much better three-point shooting team when you consider we got Maxwell Lewis just out there catching the rock around the perimeter, just hitting shots. That dude is such a phenomenal three-point shooter. And that's what I love about our team. No more talk about the Lakers can't shoot the three. No more. Now you draft a guy like Maxwell Lewis. If you have him on the floor the way you're supposed to, you got a talented three-point shooter out there at the three spot in the corner hitting those shots. You know what I'm saying? So that, I don't know how others feel about that. But for me, that's the piece the Lakers really needed. Just that reliable three-point shooter who could play the three very well. Now Anthony Davis gets more space. LeBron James gets more space. If we're keeping D'Angelo Russell, his piece going to make more sense. But we don't need him to be a shooter. We can get rid of Beasley because we got shooters. So that's what I really like, that Maxwell Lewis piece. And you talk about a guy you could put at the three order for who's just going to park it and hit threes. I mean, it's going to make life so much easier for us to have a player like that, especially out the gate. We get develop on our own. He's going to be our player. I can see him turning into an all-star for us over the next 7 years. If we keep him in place, Maxwell Lewis upside probably just high as Jalen Hood-Schifino's, to be completely honest with you. Probably just as high. And so that's what I'm saying to y'all. If you love players like DeAndre Hunter, Chris Middleton, like I said, Taylor Hendricks reminds me of that. Your quintessential 6'8", power forward, small forward, shooting the three, getting back on D, making plays for others unselfishly, rebounding the ball pretty solid. I mean, has the ability to create for himself, take people off the dribble, left, right. I'm telling y'all, Maxwell Lewis, that dude's going to be a star. And I don't know why the hell he fell so far. I really don't. I had him going 30, and I thought that was a little low for his piece and how relevant it is for this era. But for us to get him at 40, yeah, it's going to be a bunch of teams who wish they didn't do that. I don't know if his medicals are a little funny. I don't know if it was – I heard some conversation about his attitude wasn't great in college at Pepperdine. He possibly had some issues where he quit on his team from what people were saying. I don't know. If he has to figure it out, whatever. You know what I mean? But the point is we're bringing him in as a rookie, our own fresh 3-and-D small forward. And that is something the Lakers don't often have. In the various eras we've had, the small forward position with that particular type of player, your RJ Barrett type of guy, they just weren't here. You know what I mean? Keegan Murray type dudes. We never have them. And so now we got one. You know what I mean? One who could really shoot the three. Because even Brandon Ingram, to a point, he was more of a combo guy. You couldn't really count on him to be a three-point shooter, just park it. Couldn't really count on him in that way. This guy is going to give you that. He's not Brandon Ingram. I ain't telling y'all he's B.I. No, that's not the upside there. But he's somebody who's going to just be sturdy from behind the arc. And so my enthusiasm for Maxwell Lewis doesn't know no end. Doesn't know no end, man, especially at the value we picked him up yet. We ran out of there. Stole the draft, basically, in that way. And like I said, with Jalen Hood-Schifino, just a strong guy. I think he's going to have high character. sturdy mind. You know what I mean? He's not going to be rattled by too much. Confidence ain't going to be dipping. And he's going to win the Lakers over fast, man. That's what I want people to know. Jalen Hood-Schifino is going to turn into one of your favorite players because he's going to do smart stuff at the point guard position that we ain't used to. He's going to do smart stuff on the defensive end. He's going to do intelligent stuff on the offensive end. He's going to make plays for other people. You know, hopefully he's not going to turn the ball over very much. His three-point shot is good enough to where you're not looking at him as a deficient three-point shooter, just not a very talented one, overly talented, 33%, 35% when he fully develops, I believe, which is good enough, if not good, in this league. So you like him there. Like I said, he's attacking from the mid-range, so you're going to get a lot of easy buckets from opportunities that he creates in his spots off that pick and roll. And as long as we allow him to run the point guard at 6'5", put the ball in his hands, he's going to be one of our best decision makers. Him, Austin Reeves are going to make fantastic decisions for our team. So I think we should let him run the point. I don't know how much ball handling LeBron wants to do this year, but we legitimately drafted our point guard of the future. Now, there is a chance, in fact, a pretty solid chance, that the Lakers look to move Jalen Hood-Schifino. From what I understand, the way things were set up, no matter if the Lakers had a trade in place or not for this pick, it was incumbent upon the Lakers to have to draft that player. They were going to draft whoever that was at 17. So that may also speak to why we passed on Cam Whitmore or anyone else for that matter, because we may have had a trade in place that had it so that Jalen Hood-Schifino was the pick. So that could very much explain why Cam was also not the Lakers draft pick. So I'm hopeful the Lakers actually don't trade Jalen Hood-Schifino. I think he's what we need when you consider a 6'5" point guard out the gate, homegrown, fresh Laker developed player, when you really are only aiming to get somebody like Chris Paul or maybe get another guy that was also drafted, you know what I mean, and developed into something like Trae Young or DeJounte Murray. I'm not saying his upside is that, but we've seen 17th overall picks turn into that, including what was it, Kobe Bryant? Wasn't he 17? So for me, it's like I'm not in the business of necessarily trading away guys like this who are at fair value, who fit the need, who are young, who have two-way ability, smart, strong, intelligent, dog, like all these different things. It's like, that's not the player you trade before you see if there's any reason to actually do so. He don't really have any injury issues that I know of. He's one of the few players in the range that just didn't have bad medicals in any way. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty sturdy. I think it's just smart to bring him in and let him be exactly what you drafted him to be. Your point guard of the future. Groom him over the next 4 or 5 years and see, don't he turn into something really good? I don't see why he doesn't. The tools are all there. You know what I mean? Can I upgrade at the point guard position if I just want to? Of course. But how much? How much of an upgrade when I don't know how good this dude actually could be? When there were people who think this guy should have been the lottery. You know what I'm saying? He fell to us. It wasn't like we were just getting a steal. It wasn't like he was Cam Whitmore or nothing. Nah, not really. We had great value for that piece. He fits in a multitude of ways. And for me, the only thing that would otherwise keep me from being ecstatic about it is if either somebody who didn't fall to me was available, or I didn't understand the fullness of the Cam Whitmore risk for our team. You know what I mean? And which I do, and explained to all of you guys last night. So for me, it's like, in a nutshell, would I ever really take Jalen Hood-Schifino over Cam Whitmore? I don't think I would ever really do that, except for in this situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what, and it ain't like Cam Whitmore and Jalen Hood-Schifino are so far apart to where you got to slap somebody for doing it. Not really. Cam Whitmore's highest range is like 5, right? For most people, 4 or 5. And Jalen Hood-Schifino's highest range, I think, was like, the highest I saw was 11 or 12. So it's like, yeah, they're lottery guys. They're both lottery guys. They both have the ability to do good things. They both have the ability to bottom out. And there's a decent chance that 2-3 years down the road, you're actually happy you got this player than Cam Whitmore. Certain things tumble forward the wrong way. You made the right pick any damn way. And so that's what I want to let everybody know. Yeah, you think you left a lot of value on the board, but in the grand scheme of things, you're not 100% certain you don't get the better pro. You know, you probably got the better pro. In the end, the guy who's probably more ready to help you, more ready to help us kind of keep what it is that we're trying to do going, keeps our books clean so we don't have to try to figure out certain things with our roster, you know, that make sense so that we can get the most out of all them dudes. It's easy to slip in a point guard because you don't have one. So that was the key to it all. It fit the fit. One could argue he was the best player available, if not for the falling knife in Cam Whitmore. All your favorite guards are gone. You know what I mean? All the guards that Laker fans wanted so bad, they're all gone. So Jalen Hood-Schifino was the best player available for us, for what we needed, for what was going on. And I just am always going to understand that as we move forward. I'll always give us a pass because I know that this would have been more of a headache taking Cam than anything else. It would have been more of a headache. But Miami, I don't see that way. I don't see it that way. And I like Jaime Jaquez. I know a lot of Laker fans are upset that we took Jalen Hood-Schifino and not Jaime Jaquez. I don't know if I don't feel that way later on, but I just think, once again, if you're going to take a forward in that situation, it got to be Cam Whitmore. You can't value Jaime over Cam, not on draft night, no. And so that's why I would never get mad at the Lakers for not taking Jaquez, because he would have been the third player I took in the situation after Jalen Hood-Schifino, and probably would have just bit the bullet with Whitmore anyway, because that's how I am, and I would have created a lot of problems for the Lakers that they do not want. And so that's what you avoid. That's why I'm not GM, and that's why I think the Lakers ultimately made the best decision for them. So yeah, kudos to the LA Lakers for staying disciplined, for not being a cowboy, so to speak, and risking everything you're trying to build just to get a player that probably should be had by everyone. Should be had by everybody, but may not necessarily fit everywhere, which is the problem. And you've seen enough Ben Simmonses of the world to know that not everything that glitters on draft night is gold. And if for some reason you got an inclination that you should stay away from a guy, especially if you got the needs like the Lakers do, it's probably the move. It's probably the move. It probably is. We don't have to do that. We don't have to take those risks. It's probably best we don't. So that's just what it is, man. I'll always remember that, and I'll always remind us so long as it's necessary. Hopefully Cam Whitmore has a fantastic career, so it will be necessary, because I don't want to see him fail in any way. But, yeah, I don't think he will, given the fact he's in Houston. They got a bunch of athletes, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody should fear them, and I stand by that. So that's what I got to say about the Lakers. Particularly, I think we should fear the Rockets long term, just like everybody else should, but not right now. I think we need to finish our timeline and continue to build smart, continue to go after smart talent. I do want us to go after Jalen Suggs now. I do. Because I think Jalen Suggs and Jalen Hood-Schifino, no pun intended with the names. Actually, that's not how that works, but whatever. Those two players should probably be in the same backcourt. And I don't think Jalen Suggs has played himself up to a point where he can demand any starting roles. But I think if you bring them both together, the way that Suggs was supposed to be scouted, he's also a 2, comfortably, very comfortably. Just like Porter Jr. in Houston, you can put Suggs there, get the 1, the 2 out of him, maybe even some 3 later on. So I like Jalen Suggs for us. I don't know if it's realistic we get him without giving up Jalen Hood-Schifino. But then again, they just drafted Anthony Black over there in Orlando. They don't need any more guards. And I want us to have more high-level guards on our team. And with all due respect to D'Angelo Russell, he's already out the door. Dennis Schroeder, if I can get Jalen Suggs, I probably feel good about Dennis Schroeder as my third guy. I don't want Chris Paul being bought out, and I don't think Golden State's going to buy him out right now, which I think is weird, but whatever. And Scottie Pippen is somebody I also want to see in the rotation. I definitely want that. Austin Reeves would not be given as many point guard duties if I have all these point guards on my team, but I'm still going to sneak opportunities for him to get the ball in his hands to pass around and do all this stuff. All of those guys can score, so they can also help one another. In situations, LeBron James will get him where he fits in. I don't need his playmaking as much this year. I need those playmakers to develop. I need him driving at the rim. That's another thing. So I don't need as much from LeBron James in theory this year. I don't want him shooting all these threes. It's not even necessary. When you got Maxwell Lewis, all LeBron's threes should be in Maxwell's hands. You know what I mean? We don't need that. I got Jalen Hood-Schifino to set the ball up for everybody else. I just need LeBron cutting. I need him slashing, cutting, and dunking. Slashing, cutting, and dunking. Making plays off of that. Keeping his three-point shots to an absolute minimal. It's not necessary you get in rhythm. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest. Him three-point shooting this season is not necessary. He don't have to get in rhythm. We just need him to be able to make plays off of others, man. So I'm telling you, his role is diminishing. For what we're paying LeBron James and for what now we need with all the players that we have who can do a bunch of things, I don't think we need him to do as much this year, which is a very good thing for him. But I don't know if it makes sense for us because we're still paying him like a superstar. But hey, nobody's moving on from Bron, so I'm not going to try to bring logic into the situation as it pertains to that. We just got to ride this out. But I'm telling you, this team is built to win just like last year's team without LeBron. And we got young talent. We keep a young, fresh roster on the floor whether he's out there or not. And I'm excited about that. And that's it. Length and stuff like that. I like the Hodge piece. Not Hodge, the Fudge piece for that reason. Because the length should complement the youngsters. What's our young fella's name? The rookie from last year. My mind's going blank. I can't believe that's happening. But nevertheless, Max Christie, Maxwell Lewis. We got two Maxes. It's going to be fun. We're definitely going to play off those names. I want to see those players on the floor together a lot of the time because they both are two-way. They both have length. They both shoot the three. They both create for themselves. They both can create for one another. That is a tandem of Lakers I want to see on this team from here on out. Unless something happens where we just don't like those players no more, those prototypes should be here for the next 6 years. Maxwell Lewis and Max Christie. Don't trade them. Do not trade them. You know what I'm saying? Don't trade them. I want Jalen Hood-Schifino. I want Rui Hachimura, Vanderbilt, Austin Reeves. You see all these players I got now? I got a bunch of young players. I've been wanting this type of thing on my team for years, and we got it. Bunch of youngsters, man. Bunch of high-level upside youngsters. Fudge, Castleton, all of it, man. It is good. Demoy, all of it. It's Demoy, Hodge, and Fudge, right? Yeah, Demoy, Hodge, Alex Fudge, Castleton. Those are some names, man. Some names, and the continuity of having Castleton and Fudge having been on the same team, I think is huge as well. We love having guys that already have that synergy. It overall contributes to the continuity that we expect to see as a team, just like we did when we brought in Vando, Beasley, D'Lo. In theory, they should have been able to keep us feeling like a team that's been together longer than it has because they knew each other longer than they've been here. So these are great. This is great, man. Everything the Lakers did, I'm fully on board with. Everything. We did it right. I gave us an A. A-. The only thing that pissed me off is the dynamic that we had no control over, allowing a guy like Cam falling past us. It's the only thing I had a problem with. And I always have peace in regards to Jaime Jaquez because I know damn well that I would have never taken him. It's no way I'm passing up on Cam Whitmore for Jaime Jaquez. Especially when I have a point guard need. It's never going to happen, y'all. So the Jaime Jaquez fans need to be at peace. He never had a chance of being a Laker. Never. Because he was going to be the third guy we picked in that situation. And we only had one pick in that situation. So I'm sorry, Jaime fans. It just was not going to take place. He was destined to be a Heat. Let it go. Let that go. Because ain't no way in hell you doing what the Heat did and taking him over Cam Whitmore. You're not doing that. And I'm not letting you do that. So I'm just letting y'all know. No chance. It wasn't happening. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. That is my rundown of the draft for the Lakers this morning, day after. Got some guys, of course, the undrafted guys we wanted to introduce to you guys and let you know how excited we are about what our scouts have done yet again. Best scouts in the league by far. And we keep finding these gems in the back of the draft, and it's going to make us a very wealthy basketball team, a very deep basketball team, and a very capable championship-worthy basketball team. So long as we value player development the way we do right now in 2023, this is the way it should be for the rest of eternity, Lakers. Value player development. Keep your picks. And let's trust them scouts, man. Trust them scouts. That's what I got to say. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching.